Kakati-Shah. I'm your host for the Uma Show. Welcome to our one-stop journey of feeling empowered. We want you to be bold, be you, be Uma. We are a platform for change. We build confidence. We empower our members. We are your voice. Today, our theme is career transitions, and I'm so excited to be joined today by two successful ladies, both who actually came through our program. So first, I'm going to start off by saying hi to Rima. Rima Roy is a finance professional with over 2 decades of experience in financial services. She has successfully transitioned careers into a New York City-based hedge fund, Turning Rock Partners. Hi, Rima.
Hi.
And then Vaishnavi Venugopal is a former Wall Street software engineer, completed an UMA-ship, and has made a rewarding career at the New York City office of technology company Doran Jones. Hi, Vaishnavi.
Hi, Rita.
How are you ladies doing today?
Great.
Good, yeah.
It's good to see you. So in the middle of quarantine, middle of pandemic, and it's wonderful to have this show and this chat with you guys today. So I'm going to get straight into it. I have a few sort of questions lined up that everybody's super eager to find out. So firstly, I'm going to start with you, Rima. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what made you transition careers in the first place.
Thank you, Rita, and I'm so excited to be here. I think Uma is incredible. I really think that what Uma has done and continues to do is something that, really is so empowering for many, many women, many people in general. So in my case, I've been really fortunate that my journey brought me to Uma. Most of my career was in pretty large financial services organizations, but on the consumer finance side. And then I made the transition largely through being at a phase in my personal life as well as in my career where a lot of the time in my previous roles, part of my challenge was that I had always been in roles where I was commuting quite a distance. And I made a transition also for a sense of having more balance with my family. So I think one of the things that really, one part of my journey was that there's so many aspects really as women that we go through. I think we have, for those of us who have children, there's the, responsibilities for that, but then we also have responsibilities for, oftentimes for caring for our parents and our families. So it was a period in my life when I felt like there was a lot of different reasons why the kind of work and the kind of organizations I've been with was no longer matching where I was in my life. And it, as I said, what was very fortunate for me was to be introduced to Uma. And then I basically wanted to find an organization where one aspect of it was certainly location. Another aspect was to feel part of an organization that was growing and that where I, felt like I would really make a contribution. And the fact that it would mean moving or transitioning to a different type of industry was something I was open to. Uma really guided me. My Uma-ship really guided me through this process.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I love what you said about, the support network and also what drove you to go for the change, which is really your own life story, your own experiences and just balancing everything. So next I want to go to Vaishnavi, because on that note, if I remember correctly, like one day you were reevaluating your future career goals and your work-life balance. And that's really when you initially came to Uma. So tell us about your journey, your background, and what took you to Doran Jones.
Thanks, Rita, first of all, for having me on the show. Again, Uma has been very supportive in my life at a point where I was confused. I was out of work for 2 years and I really wanted to get back. But again, I didn't want to go back to what I was doing. And that is a point when I was looking, for help. I was looking for someone who could guide me, and help me, at that point in my career. And Uma was really incredibly supportive through all the workshops. And I met so many women with similar careers and experiences. I was finally able to, land my next role. So the way I started off was, I've been a software engineer consulting on Wall Street for almost 10 years. It was a very exciting career. I enjoyed every moment of it. I worked with some great people. It became very challenging for me after I had my second kid. I had to take a break, especially with balancing work life and taking care of two kids, and my husband was traveling a lot. So I decided to take a break for 2 years and to be with both my kids. And I enjoyed, every moment of it. But there was something missing. I really missed that social life. Getting back to work. I loved the field that I was working in, technology. I spent so much time of my life studying and working in that field, and I just didn't want to let it go. I wanted to be part of it, and still able to take care of my family and give them enough time. So that's when I started exploring, alternate careers. I was exploring being a teacher, at some of the schools, teaching technology, or, recruiting was also on my list. And that's when, I was, I came across Uma, and, I met you. And, that's where my journey started. And, I was very fortunate to have you mentor me and speak to the company where I'm working at. They were able, it's very hard to transition from one career to the other. A lot of returnship programs that are there currently in the market help women get back to what they were doing after they took a break. But, trying to switch careers or do something different is something very challenging. And, to have someone help you and support you at a point when you need to do that is great. I mean, and thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you for saying that. And I think that's really what it's about. I mean, we have so many viewers watching today, for example, and I'm sure other people are going through that as well, where they've had a certain career, they've excelled at that career, but it's a lifestyle change. Especially as women, we do have many roles on our plates that we are managing. And it's totally fine to want to do something different. And I think it's just what we try to do is hold your hand in that journey. And I'm so glad that you've managed to find that fit for your own personal lives now. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about mentoring. You did touch upon it briefly, Vaishnavi, but Rima, how do you find with mentoring? One of the things we focus on at UMA is really being there in this journey. It's a long-term journey. It's not just a quick one, and it's a relationship. Can you tell us and the viewers really about mentoring for you and how that has impacted your life and your kind of career path today?
Certainly, Rita, thank you for, I think, again, one of the things I would say is that it's so critical when we think of the kind of support that we need as we make transitions, particularly career transitions, like we've been talking about. And from the mentoring standpoint, I think having the ability to connect with other people who have gone through transitions or are currently having a network, a support network, but also one that, really helps you brainstorm, think through, different things and different paths. And I think you personally, and I think the UMA, program where just it opens up such a wide network to us. It certainly has to me. I was able to attend some of the events where UMA has, different folks speaking on their transitions or just different, areas of, building confidence, building self-esteem. So I think when I think of mentoring, I think of, the support. And I really do feel like the UMA network, and of course, you in particular have offered that.
Oh, thank you for saying that. And I'm glad you really found the benefits of just having a mentor in general. What about you, Vaishnavi?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what Rima said. It was basically, having that network to be able to connect to other women who are at the same point in your career. We are confused. We don't know what options are there in front of us, which career path to choose, where there would be a good work-life balance or whatever else that we are looking for at that point. Having that career counseling, having those options open is very important. Being able to talk to other people and feel that, you're not alone in this, and there are other women who are going through these challenging times where, there's one part of you who wants to be a great mom and a wife at home and, manage everything and also get back to work. There's that part that, that you really want to get back to work because you like what, you like what you were doing and you don't want to let that part go. So, it was very nice, interacting with other women, attending the workshops, helping, the resume workshops, the career counseling, everything was just great and empowering. I mean, I cannot thank you enough. Uma, for that.
Thank you for saying that. And thank you for sharing that. So now we've talked about your journeys, where you are today. Let's fast forward to now, present day journey. So think about, you started in your new careers, in your new places of work. Can you describe how it was pre-COVID-19, working in the office, to now where we're in quarantine and we're working from home and trying to balance everything? So Rima, tell us about like your day-to-day before and today.
Sure. So I think, of course, the biggest part of the day-to-day that has changed is not being able to go into the office,
right,
not being able to interact with everybody on the team in person. We're obviously interacting significantly, but not being, not physically being together. And we are a small team. A lot of, I think, what motivates most of us, I would say all of us in our team, our firm, is the fact that we really bounce ideas off each other, and a lot of things come up when you're together discussing something. So the things that have changed certainly are that the aspect where there's a more of a structure to the idea of getting ready, being in work attire, being at your logistically catching the subway, coming back, and then kind of going from the work mode to the parent mode. And now I think so many things have melded together. So there is, the physical separation between your work life and your personal life has really kind of, that separation has certainly
kind of merges into one.
Eliminated. And so currently, I think it is certainly, I'm thankful and I feel fortunate that in our case, the working from home, obviously we're fortunate to have, the ability to set up a workspace. It may not be exactly how things are set up in the office, but we have a workspace set up. It is also has been something that I'm thankful also for, is the fact that my kids are a little bit on the older side. So I have a high schooler and a middle schooler. There is a certain amount of independence where they do know how to use the technology. They do know how to log into their virtual schooling. It's not as much, direct vision as if they were younger. And that also means that there's obviously a certain amount of independence where they can there's not as much physical childcare that I am missing because of now being at home. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and well said. How about you, Vaishnavi? What's been different to a day in the life of Vaishnavi pre-quarantine to now?
Yeah, I miss going to work. I miss talking to my colleagues and going out to lunches and riding the subway, and just walking back home, and I just miss everything. It was very challenging at the beginning because I have 2 young kids. We live in a small apartment in Manhattan, so getting that individual workspace is challenging, and especially with we need to have computers for our kids too, so everyone needs to have a desk. We need to have quiet times when we are in meetings. Trying to get my younger one to do her schoolwork was very challenging initially, and trying to take calls at the same time. I think for the first month or so, it was not so good. I just didn't know where all this was going to go and, what's going to happen. But I think slowly things fell into place. We all started to realize, how to work together, in a family. And, the kids started, behaving better, being more understanding. And I think it also gave us a time, this time to be like, we got to spend so much time with the kids, and we started doing things that we were not able to do before. When we were going to work, like pick up a board game, and the kid, when we have an hour free in the middle of the day, spend more time with the kids, like talking more to the kids, and engaging them in activities, or just watching my younger one get more creative in art, or dance to a tune. So I'm sure my nanny was catching all that when I was at work before, but it's really nice to spend this time, quality time with kids. And I think we have all adjusted pretty well. So we are able to, work better now. And it's going to be challenging for the summer, I'm sure, because, once school is over, trying to keep the kids engaged is going to be very hard.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. I hope it doesn't last too long, because the kids also need to interact with their peers and not just, grown-ups like us. They miss having that interaction with friends. And, I just hope things get back to normal starting September.
Oh, totally. And that's so well said. I mean, even myself, you guys know I used to travel all the time. I was out and about. I'm used to that. I'm an outdoors person. From that overnight to being indoors, and not just that. I might have shared with you guys. My whole family, we actually had the virus. So it took us a while to have it and then recover from it, and then do homeschooling at the same time and run your own company at the same time. Nothing stops. And you have to keep on going. So there has been so many challenges. And to your point, Vaishnavi, everything was in disarray to start with. Everything overnight, it switched. And I'm the queen of structure. I love sort of structure, and I help other people structure for a living. This is what I do. And yet it was difficult myself to do that. It took time. I'm sick as well. So it took time to recover from it. But I think, once you find your pace, having the routine, certainly for me, and I'm guessing the same with you guys too, was so key. Having a routine, first thing in the mornings, I know my kids, that is homeschooling time. That is when they are using my devices. So I can't be on a call, because I tried that. I was on a call using one device, which was synced to a device my daughter was on, and she hit delete and everything went. And because the device was synced. And then I learned that lesson very quickly. So I thought, I've got to reevaluate how I do this. So I set scheduled specific times. I have webinars, calls, I cannot move those. But within those realms, it's very much structuring how the day works. And then quite often I find my days are quite lengthened. I don't know about you guys too, but my days are lengthened because I'm very, very much with them. They're only 5 and 7, but so it's very hands-on, their homeschooling. And it's not really till the evening after they've gone to bed, things are quietened down, that I get my me time. My me time actually comprises of opening up my laptop and catching up on strategic work, on diversity and inclusion work, because that's really time I actually have time to think. Before it's just go, just you're pushing ahead. Then it's okay, now I can think, now I can write, now I can do my main creative work. And it's a lot. So I think kudos to you guys, kudos to all of, I think women in general, we are quite organized in trying to balance working and motherhood and being at home for whatever reason. So it's been quite a trot, I think. I certainly noticed it and learned from it as well. But I think I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in the weeks ahead, to see what are the changes and what is the new normal going to look like. It's changing every week to week. We're going through different norms, right? So it'd be interesting to see. So I wanted to just ask you now, we've talked about now quarantine, homeschooling, how we're managing that. What challenges have you seen with balancing everything? I know from my side, I can get quite exhausted. And certainly from the kids' perspective, I've got to, switch on and back to normal again from the next morning, just to kind of go with it as though everything is, fine and hunky-dory again. What about you guys? Rima, what would you say was a challenging moment for you, or is still today?
Right. No, that's I think it resonates for everyone that is trying to balance this. So I would say, like I was saying, the idea of of separation has now like that is blended. So I feel like for me, some of the challenging moments are like I'm trying to make sure that there's still some structure in the house where things are like meals still have to be made, people get hungry at a certain time, and but on the other hand I'm on calls as well, and then sometimes it's just the sheer like the fact that now we're all in the house at the same time. Like I think I have to say I've realized this whole when they say patience is a virtue, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn this virtue one way or the other, because it's mentally, the switching gears is also mental and physical, because it's not just the physically what you have to do, but it's also mental, because like you were referencing, Rita, sometimes what you're in the middle of doing is a train of thought, like you're trying to make sure that you've written something or communicated something, and you have to be clear. And then if you're interrupted right at that moment, the whole idea of train of thought, really, there is something to that, because your train of thought then is you're like, okay, I'll have to redo this or just do it like you've been explaining your challenge, where you then end up deciding, okay, I'm going to focus on this in the evening when everybody is doing something else.
Absolutely, and well said. How about you, Vaishnavi?
Yeah, the most challenging thing I agree is trying to switch between different roles during the day, right from trying to help my youngest one with the homework, trying to take my calls with one hand and trying to prep meals at the same time. It's been really challenging, and the amount of work. I mean, the kids and everyone being home all day. I mean, the house has to be kept clean, and just the physical work. Which the laundry and everything. I mean, it's like these are the kind of things that we had outsourced and we had help, and now it's like everything has to be done. And even though I'm sort of a perfectionist, so it's like I just try to make sure that everything gets done every day. So that takes a toll on me sometimes, and as you said, Rita, I really get exhausted at the end of the day, and then the whole thing starts over again. Even the weekends get really busy, but we do try to find time. I mean, as I said, in between all this, I think we have found our happy moments. We have spent more quality time with each other. I've really enjoyed spending this time with my kids, and I think the bond has become even more, especially with my younger one, and we have started to understand each other better and respect each other's feelings. So even though the quarantine and these tough times have taken so much from us and all the people, I mean, it has also, I think it has given us at the same time, it has taught us so much, in these other terms.
Really, really well said. And I agree with that, like 100%. It's, even though things have been challenging and tough, it's taught us another side. I always tell people there are two sides of every coin, and you can see it like the glass is half full or half empty. I always try to take the half full approach to see the better side of things. And I think this has taught us to do that. It's tested, to your point, Rima, tested your patience to the limit, everything to the limit, claustrophobia, everything, any adjective you can think of. But on the other side, the flip side of that, it's quality family time. I'm getting to spend time with my kids, and it's quality time with them. Previously when I was traveling a lot, we would still spend quality time, but we would FaceTime each other or WhatsApp call, whatever it was, to try and spend those times. Now I'm with them. I can see them learning. I can see what their challenges are or what their strengths are, and I can understand that more. So it's teaching me a lot of things. I'm being a better communicator as a result as well. So I think it's eye-opening experience for all of us on that. So on that note, I think as a final kind of takeaway from everything, what piece of advice would you give to our viewers here today, or anyone else really about to embark on a new career, whether it's now, quarantine time, whether it's in a few months? Any kind of tips you would give them as they start embarking in a new career journey themselves? Let's start with you, Rima.
That's a great question, Rita, and I think so I'll use an analogy that, so there's one thing that, and it's not, it's an analogy not related directly to work, but what has been one thing I would say is that I'm someone who is, I would describe myself as not a risk taker. I'm more risk averse. And I think when you decide and you've given thought to making a transition, I think being open to possibilities that, that really may seem perhaps in some sense riskier than what you've done before. And the analogy I was going to give is because what's been very personal for me, and I will share with viewers and you, both of you, is that, for example, I am someone who in many decades, I had never learned to ride a bike. So my husband, and I will credit him with this, and my kids had been saying to me that, there are things you miss out on because you can't join us in an activity that 3 members of the family enjoy. And so my husband said to me, and so actually I thought it was very smart of him. He's like, go do a class. He did not suggest he will teach me, or well, I will just, automatically get over whatever it was, like whatever my inhibition, my fear, that I'm just not coordinated, I'm not athletic. So it's kind of the same analogy I'm trying to make about making a career transition. And then I went to a class. I got over whatever the mental, barrier was, where I was like, I'm not someone who does these things. And then I did. And now it has become actually such a blessing that we can do something together as a family that I didn't think I had it in me. I'm like, it's not, I'm too old to now learn something new.
Oh, there we go. And that's a great analogy. Thank you so much for that. How about you, Vaishnavi?
I think you are the best judge of what you can do and what you can take over. So, the only thing I could say is just trust yourself and go for it. The fact that you are ready to make a transition itself is a bold move, in your life at whatever point you are. If you really trust yourself and you put all your effort into it, I think you can be pretty successful in whatever career you decide to take on.
Amazing. Well,
there's enough support from people like you. So yeah, that gives us, even more strength to go for it.
Amazing. Well, thank you for saying that. And ladies, we're out of time today. It's been such a pleasure having you both here today. And I want to just give you both a big thank you to Rima Roy and Vaishnavi Venugopal, and to all of you, our viewers, for watching. And Rima and Vaishnavi, I want to give you the opportunity. If you want to say any shout outs or hellos to anybody, go for it. I would say hello to my kids. I know they're watching. So hi, Rhea. Hi, Rahi. And Rasheen, my husband. How about you guys? Just feel free to do a quick shout out.
Go ahead, Vaishnavi.
I would like to, say a big hi to my mom and dad in India. They're going through very tough times, like what we did a couple of months ago, and I really miss them. I was going to travel to see them, but I don't know when I would be able to see them next. So I just want to tell them that I really miss them, and hope to be there soon.
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to hear that from you. How about you, Rima?
I will shout out to my soon-to-be 16-year-old son, Rayat, and I'm really proud of all of the focused ways in which he's been handling this time, and my daughter, Nishta, and my husband, Ritendra. And I echo what Vaishnavi said, that I think for those of us who have our parents abroad, definitely a shout out to my mom and my in-laws. And this is a very disappointing time for them. Normally, actually, they come and spend time in the summer with the grandkids, and it is what they count on. And so I want them to know that, we miss this time that they really look forward to every year.
Oh, well said. And I'm sure they'd be so pleased to hear you say that. So thanks so much for joining us on this empowerment journey. We want you all to embrace that inner goddess of go-getting inside each of you. Be bold, be you, be Uma.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.